All right, we'll start right here in the front row.
Tyrese, Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. Obviously, you had a stretch there in the fourth quarter where you really got it going, but felt like a lot of things were hard to that point. What were they doing? Anything different than what you saw in the first game?
No, I mean, this is who they are defensively. They got a lot of different guys who can guard the ball, fly around. They're really physical, force the officials to, let us play a little bit more. So just got to do a better job playing through there. I think I've had two really poor first halves. So, I just got to figure out how to be better earlier in games. But kudos to them. They're a great defensive team, but, watch the film, see where I can get better.
Left on the front row.
Zach Ostrom with the Indianapolis Star, kind of in that same vein, but Coach called your offense an ecosystem where, the more one guy succeeds, the more everybody succeeds. What have they done to disrupt that when they've had success, slowing you guys down offensively these first two games? Yeah,
I think we just got to do a better job of getting to the paint. It's a lot easier said than done, but, I feel like in the first half we were just moving the ball on the outside, and I don't think we had a single point in the paint in the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken. So, our offense is built from the inside out. We got to do a better job getting downhill. They collapse and then, make plays from there. But, thought we could improve a lot there. But, yeah, man, they're flying around. They got great point of attack defenders. They got great rim protectors. It's a great defense. So we can do a lot better job and, watch the film and see if we can get better, going into game 3.
Okay, go all the way to the left, Tim.
Tyrese, for as frustrating as I'm sure tonight feels like right now for you guys, you are leaving here with a split.
Yep.
That has to mean something to you guys. I know it's not a console, it doesn't take tonight away, but you came in here and did what you had to do. You took home court. How much nicer will that make things when you get back home and figure out how to attack Wednesday?
Yeah, I think anytime you're the lower seed in a playoff series, your job is to go split or go try to get one on the road. We got game 1. Felt like we really let the rope slip, there in the second quarter. So I think you can. There's many different ways that you can choose to digest, what's in front of you. But yeah, I think we focus on taking it a day at a time. So you got the split, you feel good about that. But we definitely wanted to play better tonight. I think our processes need to be a lot better for us to be successful here. So it's still a race in the first to 4. So we're going to our home court, tied 1-1, and we love playing at home, love playing in front of our fans. Our fans are amazing. So just see where we can get better and just take it a day at a time.
Second row in the middle.
Tyrese, Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. In the fourth quarter, it seemed like you got going off the ball a little bit where they couldn't track you. Is that something, was that just by happenstance? Was that like something intentional of yours? And is that something that you can kind of replicate early in games in these first halves that you said were poor?
Yeah, I think through the course of a series, even in the games that you lose, you're trying to learn from them, see where you can get better. So we had some success there. Me, playing off the pitch a little bit more, flying around, rather than, if I'm in that high ball screen, which, I feel like I am really successful at, that gives them a chance to really load up, pack the paint. They got a couple steals in there. I had some really dumb turnovers tonight. They're kind of showing like a soft blitz, sometimes a full blitz. They're giving me different looks. So I got to do a better job and just figuring out where I can be better. And in that game in the second half when you're down by so much, you can choose to, just take the game for what it is and just be done, or, try to continue to learn different things. So, I think through the course of the series and already through these first 2 games, I'm learning, where my spots are, where I can be better. So we'll take the good and the bad, watch film, see where you can improve going into the next game.
Just as a quick follow-up.
Vince, I need to get to DA so we can get out of here.
Sorry.
Most teams defensively try to take the 3 away first. They don't seem to really mind if you shoot threes. They're taking the paint away. So how do you? What's the challenge when you see a defense that's kind of unusual in that sense?
Yeah, I think you just have to choose. You have to make a decision on getting threes your way. I think we made some shots that were kind of on the the swing. But we got to do a better job of getting downhill and just playing from the inside out. They are a team, like you said, who really takes away the paint, does a great job of swarming the ball. It feels like there's 5 guys around you every time you're in the paint. But we got to do a better job of getting threes our way. And I felt like in the first quarter, we were able to, turn them over probably a little bit more than they're accustomed to, and we didn't do a great job of capitalizing on that. Again, when you're forcing turnovers like that, you should probably be getting more rim twos than just early kick ahead threes, and that's me, and that's where we can be better as a whole. So again, watch the film, see where we can get better. We know that the paint is our emphasis, and the paint is our friend. The more that we're able to attack the paint, usually better things happen for us. So it's just about getting threes your way. If you just swing the ball around and take late shot clock threes, it's really difficult. And sometimes we're stuck in that situation. You got to make whatever you can with it. But we got to do a better job of not playing so late into the clock and getting threes our way.
Thanks, Tyrese.
Another bad first half, obviously, was a big problem. And we just played poorly. A little better in the second half, but you can't be a team that's reactive and expect to be successful or have consistency. So we're going to have to be a lot better on Wednesday.
All right, first question here.
Hey, Coach. Leandro Sarhan from ESPN Brazil. After not going with the two bigs in the first game, they played a big stretch with that of the game with the Hartenstein and Holmgren. Do you feel like this had a big impact on the result tonight?
I don't know if there was any lineup that they used that wasn't impactful for them.
Over here on the left.
Yeah, Zach Osterman, Indianapolis Star. I guess just asking about Tyrese. He kind of struggled to get engaged with the game the first couple quarters. He does kind of find it there in the fourth quarter. Does anything change from him, from your perspective, in terms of just kind of being able to get a little bit more engaged and see some of those shots fall?
Well, there's a lot more to the game than just scoring. So everybody's got to do more. Starts with the best players. Starts with Tyrese and Pascal and Miles, who will be in here to talk to you guys. And then it goes from there. And so, people shouldn't just look at his points and assists and judge how he played, or judge how any of our guys played just on that. That's not how our team is built. I mean, we're an ecosystem that has to function together. And, stats, we got to score enough points to win the game. But who gets them and how they get them, not important.
First row here.
Just 34 points in the paint in both of these games. You guys talk about being a paint to great team. What are the Thunder doing so well to keep you guys from playing the way that you want in there?
Well, they were the best in the league during the year at keeping people out of there. And so they're great at it. We've got to find ways to get the ball in there. And, it's just... There are so many things that have to go right on a set of two possessions to get the ball into the heart of their defense. You've got to get a stop, a rebound. You've got to be able to get the ball up the floor without a turnover, and then you've got to be able to get it into the lane and to the rim. And it's a tough task. So, we'll look at it. There were some stretches where we did some good things attacking the paint, but there weren't enough.
Second row middle.
Responding to the kind of the runs that they go on, and trying to basically respond to those. I mean, what can you say about their depth? Obviously, Wiggins comes in, has a big game for them. Caruso hits some big shots. I mean, how can you guys respond better to those things as far as you guys go offensively?
Well, first of all, Wiggins and Caruso played great. Those guys played great. I thought the atmosphere, I thought their crowd was exceptionally great. And so as we go home, we're going to need our crowd to be just like this crowd was. I mean, these fans took it to another level tonight, and that's how Gainbridge is going to have to be, for us to have a chance to be successful. And, Caruso and Wiggins, as you mentioned, both those guys shot it well. They caused other problems. They ran well. They made plays. They got a great feel for when to cut, and they hurt you in a lot of different ways. And so, Shea, you can mark down 34 points before they even get on the plane tomorrow, for the next game. I mean, the guy's going to score. We got to find ways to make it as tough as possible on him. Williams played really well tonight. All their guys played well, and so we're gonna have to do a lot of things better.
First row.
Scott Agnes, Fieldhouse Files. I'm curious, you talk a lot about disposition and physicality. How do you feel like your team handled that? Because obviously the Thunder seem to ramp up their intensity much more.
Not well.
Thank you. Last question here.
Hey, Coach. With like 3 minutes, 40 seconds left on the clock, you took the main guys out. Can you maybe take us a little bit through the decision making? When you decide, okay, it's over now, we're not trying to the very end, and how do you come up with these decisions?
Yeah, it's just NBA coaching. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions.
Thank you. Thanks, guy.
That was an easy one.
Miles, you guys always talk about setting your tone, playing your pace. The first halves of both these games, you haven't get off to a great start. Just kind of what things do you think you can do better to sort of establish your pace from the get-go better?
Physicality is a big part of the series. You know what I mean? I think that we got to establish ourselves physically, just as they've done. See what's going to get called, see what's not going to get called, and see how the overall tone of the game is going. And it's got to be a much better collective effort, I think, defensively. I think we did a little bit of a better job in that first half, but it's got to be 4 quarters of sustained defense.
Second row, David.
Miles, does the lack of activity on defense then translate to not getting out and doing the things you guys normally do offensively?
Yeah, of course. If you force them to a miss, you grab the ball, get out in transition, and play our best basketball. But if we're having to take the ball out every single time or fouls, slows down our offense, obviously. So, just finding more and more ways to mix it up defensively.
Y'all have seen every defense in the world against Ty, so I know that this is not new. It's just maybe being done a little bit better. But how do you make them pay if they're going to commit so much ball movement and man movement to trying to keep him out the paint?
I think with Tyrese, there's plenty of formulas to get him going. I don't think that we executed, well enough. There's things that we went over in our game plan that I don't think we executed well enough today. So we'll get him in the paint, and I think that we've been one of the better teams scoring in the paint, all year, and we have to establish that early. I think we only had 4 or 6 points in the paint in the first half, and it's not Pacers basketball. It's when you live and die by that 3, or mid-range shots, it doesn't always fare well for you.
Second row, Vinny.
Miles, 2 of the themes has been physicality and Tyrese. Are those 2 things kind of interrelated? Can you guys be more physical offensively to spring him, play more physical without, I guess, drawing offensive fouls and everything else? Is there some correlation between those 2 things?
Yeah, it's a battle. I think that, screening is just, there's an art to it, you know what I mean? You have to be able to, set the guy up. Someone like Dort or Caruso, they fight over screens well. So it's just it's a matter of timing it, a matter of being on the same page. And, there's off-ball actions, there's flares, there's plenty of stuff you can do, to get them going. But, again, I don't think we did a good enough job executing on it.
Any other questions for Miles? Let's go here.
Miles, you mentioned the points in the paint in the first half, and you personally got rolling a little bit near the basket in the third quarter. What are they doing so well that is limiting you guys there? How can you get rolling the way you guys want to go there?
As you've seen, they have the swarm mentality. Keep everybody out the paint. They sell out to the paint. They're willing to give up a multitude of shots. Threes, mid range, whatever it is, so we don't get in the paint. So now it's just about making a decision and getting there. I think that. There's ways to break down the defense. I think that, at times easier said than done, but I think we have a formula that we have to execute on. And, again, we just did not do a good enough job of that tonight.
First row all the way to the left.
You do take one, split these games here in OKC. Did you head home? Did you take any solace in that, I guess, heading home, getting ready for game 3? What kind of mindset do you take heading home with that?
I just know game break's going to be rocking, man. I just, I love our environment. You give credit where credit's due. This is a great playoff environment. I think Oklahoma City, they did a great job of showing out, with their fans and whatnot. And, I expect it to be a lot louder in Indianapolis. I know how long this city has been waiting, for this finals experience, and they're gonna show up.
Last question, Tim.
Miles, elite scorers are going to do what they do no matter how well you play them. You can't really stop them. But how frustrating is it that even when you play Shea well, he gets 34, and then the bench guys do what they do? Just how distressing is that? Because the defense on Shea was not bad tonight. He got what Shea got.
Yeah, that's just it. You said, I mean, he's the MVP for a reason. You know, he's gonna get off, and I think that, you know, we've accepted that. It's a matter of slowing him down and limiting the role players. You know, a few of their guys, you know, stepped up tonight. I think the Wiggins had a great game. Yeah, Caruso, you know, he did what he had to do. You know, it's a lot limiting their role players and making it tougher on them at least.
Thanks, Miles.
All right.
All right, first question right here on the front row on the right.
Pascal, Bob Kravitz with Indianapolis Monthly. Just where did you feel like the game got away from you tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, you know, it was pretty close in the beginning. I mean, I think just a lot of unanswered buckets, maybe some key turnovers that we can take away. But yeah, they did a good job being disruptive, and they got out in transition. And yeah, they made some tough shots. I mean, they got guys that contributed, you know, across the board. You know, they got off the bench. Guys made some big shots. They got rebounds. You know, yeah, they just did a little bit of the little things that, like, more than we did.
Front row all the way to the left.
Pascal, Tim Reynolds with the AP. I know you guys are obviously disappointed with the way this one went. Is there going to be any consolation that you did get a split here, that it is home court now for you guys? How much does that soften the blow, if at all, of this one?
I don't think it's consolation. I mean, I think you want to win every game you play. So we not happy with how the game went today, and that's it. We just gotta turn the page, focus on Game 3. That's the biggest game of the year. We just gotta go out there, go back home. Our fans, obviously, I know they're super excited to have us, and we're excited to be back, you know, in our home arena with our home fans, and just ready to compete, play hard, and yeah. So that's our focus. You know, we gotta, as hard as this one is, we just gotta move on to the next.
Front row.
Zach Osterman, Indianapolis Star. Coach described your offense as an ecosystem that just kind of feeds everybody, maybe not, if not equally, then a lot of different players kind of contribute at once. What was Oklahoma City doing to disrupt that tonight, to just kind of break maybe you guys from finding, especially that shooting rhythm that you had in the second half on Thursday night?
Yeah, they were super aggressive. Which is what they do. You know, they're disruptive kind of team. So I think, you know, we got to watch the film and just find ways to, no matter what, still be us. So we got to figure it out. I don't have the answers right now, but yeah, we got to watch it and find a way to again get to the paint or spray out for threes, like whatever our game is. You know, we got to find a way to do that.
Last row on the left.
Howard Beck from The Ringer. Pascal, they obviously are concentrating quite a bit on taking, it seems like, Tyrese out of his game. And I know you guys, you play as a team, the playmaking, the scoring, but they seem to be making it very hard on him, both in terms of his scoring and his playmaking. Anything that they're doing differently to him than you've seen from other teams? Or is this is just what the Thunder do on D?
No, I mean, they've been aggressive. Like, they've been super aggressive on Tyrese for sure, but on everyone. I mean, they ball pressuring. We got to be stronger with the ball. We got to find ways to still be aggressive and attack. And again, yeah, no, I think they're just being super aggressive. And I think it's not just Ty. I think it's everyone.
Over here on the right.
Pascal, you just touched on elements of their defense. You guys only have 38 points in the paint in both of these games. What are they doing so well to take that away from you guys, since it's something you just said that you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, they swarm a lot. They do a good job of that. I mean, yeah, they use their hands a lot. I mean, we're not gonna get into fouls or no fouls, but whatever. I mean, I think they're just being aggressive, and we gotta be stronger with the ball, and we can't let that speed us up. We still gotta play under control. That's what we gotta find a way to do.
Thanks, Pascal.
Oh, thank you.